And spawning in the bottom right hand corner of Korean, we have the South Korean Zerg player representing CranKy Gaming. It is Dark. And spawning in the top left hand corner of Korean, we have his opponents. At one point, representing Storm Gaming, currently teamless, it's the South Korean Terran, GuMiho. Let's go, Poppy, let's go. And it's always really fun to watch the two of these players, the two of these titans collide, just because they're so unorthodox. They have the capacity to play out standard games in this matchup in ZVT, but to be honest, they both often have their own kind of flavor to things. You know, Dark can be very aggressive, especially with Roach-based timings. Very rarely does he go straight up Lingbane Hydra. You know, he likes to go Lingbane into Ultra, things like that. Things that are just a little bit out of the norm. Likewise, GuMiho can be wild as well, going for ultra greedy plays or very offbeat timings as well. He slips in some mech. Infamously, you know, 2-port BC. Oh my god. I believe he actually 2-port BC Dark a couple of weeks ago. I remember casting that. I remember smudging a little bit at that. A couple of weeks. It may have been in the KSL. It may have been like KSL 1 or something. But yeah, again, GuMiho, he has no shame. Whatever is available to him, you know, he's willing to use all the tools at the Terran's disposal. And he can play a straight up normal macro game as well. So, you know, he can be a very tricky and very terrifying opponent to play against. And likewise, so can Dark. So, yeah, it's kind of interesting how they kind of mimic each other in a way in their own respective races. And we'll see how this will turn out. I believe historically Dark does have a bit of a lead when it comes to the win rates between the two players, but again, GuMiho is at the caliber where, depending on the day, you know, it's all about who is feeling best on the day at that time, well rested, you know, no brain fog or anything like that, able to focus, able to channel their inner ape. And for the time being, we do see a hatch gas pool opener here from Dark. He's taking his third base on time as well. He's going to be moving out with his Lings. Again, the reason for this is because GuMiho did skip out on his Reaper. There was no Reaper scout at all, no SCV scout either. GuMiho and Cure both do this quite often, where they're not really concerned in what the Zerg player is doing. But Dark is looking to punish that. He does have an Overlord here outside the natural. He knows nothing is left, and we see 6 more Lings on the way. 4 are being hidden here outside the natural, and he's going to be waiting for an opening to go in, and well, he's kind of teasing it for the time being. But there we go. The Lings are slipping on in to try and get some SCV kills. Can he get one SCV? Nice reaction from GuMiho. He does pull away, but Link speed kicks in. 1 Marine goes down. He's denied entry into the main base, but he gets 1 SCV. Ooh. And he may get denied entry, but you know what? He was able to get a scout off. He's aware of the 1-1-1 opener. He's aware of the Hellions as well. And now, as soon as the Hellions leave, which this was spotted by the Overlord, by the way, Lings, they come back in. 2 more Hellions swap out, but we get a full scout off at the same time. How many SCVs are going to be falling here? 3 SCVs in total and a full scout. Can we get a 4th? No, we cannot, but we do confirm the 1-1-1 Banshee opener here. More Lings slip on in, but looks like the SCVs will survive this time. In total, we have lost 9 Lings for 4. Oh my god, that was a kill on the depot? Oh my god, that was well worth it here for Dark. 9 Lings for 4 SCVs, 1 Marine, a depot, and a full scout. Not just that, but he's also been keeping these Hellions at home because of all of this aggression. So Dark has had the opportunity to just drone up, be a little bit greedy here, and not be too concerned with Hellion aggression. We do see a Viking coming out first, but again, the Banshee and the Cloak has already been scouted, so Dark knows to get ready for this. We have Spores on the way, Queens are on the front lines, and Creep is being spread. So overall, Dark is able to get quite a bit of momentum at the start of this game. It isn't game ending by any means, but he does have a nice lead for the time being. Meanwhile, GuMiho is skirting around the edges of the map. No overlords because of that Viking. Again, Dark did pull back his overlords to try and preserve them. The Hellions are going to dive in. Oh my god, they're just going in. They don't even care. 4 drones are going to be going down. The Lings are going to try and punish this, and it looks like they will be able to catch these Hellions. As I say that, the Hellions, the stutter stepping is pretty damn good. Up, up, up. Ooh. And in the end, it looks like maybe one. Every Hellion is going to get cleaned up. Does trade fairly well, though, against these Lings. As best as he can. It looks like 10 Lings for 5 Hellions. Still worth it here for Dark to clear out all those Hellions. They were able to get some drone kills, but I'm sure GuMiho was hoping for a little bit more. I mean, it is something, and Hellions do kind of, they kind of devalue over time here in this game. So it isn't a bad thing, I guess, to get rid of them, but I'm sure he wanted a little bit more. Especially because now Dark has map control. You know, without these Hellions, Dark, he can spread creep, he can take more bases, he can kind of do what he wants. He's making another wave of Lings just to be safe, which is a wise choice because we do still have a couple more Hellions in the back line. But regardless, Dark is in control. Meanwhile, the Banshees were banking up back at home, and now we have 2 Banshees zooming across the map. They do have Cloak, bear that in mind. And even though there are Spores, and even though there are Queens, these Banshees can snipe workers, and they can even take advantage of Queens that are left on their own. So we'll see what gets done. Dark, though, anticipating this, does leave 2 Queens in his main base, so he has 3 in total, and transfused energy, so Dark should be fine against this. But how many drones is he going to lose? 1, 2, 3 drones go down here, and the Banshees are able to back off, and a creep tumor as well. The creep tumor didn't really matter too much. But 3 drones isn't too bad. Oh, he's going to take a couple extra hits, but he gets a 4th drone as well. And more importantly, he keeps these Banshees alive. So very nicely done. Meanwhile, we see a bit of a Ling scout. The 3rd base has been spotted. An additional gas has been spotted as well at the 3rd. So this should be telling to Dark that it is not going to be an 8 racks. We have a 4th CC on the way. I believe Dark didn't see the 4th. Let me just double check. Yeah, he didn't. So he didn't get confirmation that there's a 4th, but seeing the gas is a tell nonetheless. So Dark should be free to tech up. And there we go. We have the Hive on the way. We have the Hydroden. 4th is being saturated, and we should be seeing a 5th soon. Oh, there it is. Oh, I don't have the money for it yet, but we'll get it. We'll get it. Meanwhile, Dark is actually going into a really interesting composition. We have a Roach Warren and Infestation Pit. We have 1-1 on the way. This is what I was saying earlier, as we do have a Hellion run by here. Nice SimCity with the Evo Chambers, though. The Hellions do not find a way in. But Dark is one to meddle in Roaches more often than not, and I haven't seen this in a while. Dark used to do this all the time at the beginning of last year, end of 2021 and the beginning of 2022, or maybe I'm conflating that. Maybe it was just 2021. When he would just go 1-1 Roach Ravager into Hydras, into Lurkers, and of course these upgrades would scale into the Lurkers over time. It was a very greedy way to play, but it was also a very defensive way to play. He's just using these roaches and these infestors to just defend long enough to survive until he gets those lurkers out. Oh. I remember at the time, I think he was one of the few Zerg players doing this. In this specific manner as well. Do recalling him whipping it out in the GSL. But here we go. Viper's already coming out. The Hive is completed. Nice prioritization of those spellcasters. What the Hive is done. There is that 5th base. Again, Dark is staying at a relatively low drone count of 74. But again, that is so he can, tech up the way that he's teching, and he's looking to just defend with as minimal units as possible until he gets those Hydras out. But before that happens, here comes the push. Are the Lurkers going to finish in time? This is going to be a tight defense. 5 Lurkers are being morphed in right now. They won't have any of the Hive upgrades, by the way, and the push is coming. 2-2 is on the horizon here for GuMiho. He has 5-6 tanks with this army. Oh my god. They will be forced to siege a little bit prematurely, but this 5th base is going to be going down. The Lurkers are going to be able to hold on to the front. Meanwhile, Dark is setting up a flank. The Vipers have gathered their energy here. They're going to be able to get some yoinks or some blinding clouds. There we go. We do get 1 yoink of the tank. But they need more energy. On top of that, they have to make sure they're safe from that Viking. With the revelation of the Vipers and Lurkers, it looks like GuMiho, he takes the base and he's going to be rotating from here. He knows he has a window, but he also knows that there are Vipers, so beautiful spread by GuMiho, just completely nullifying the effectiveness of Blinding Cloud. But here we go, the Lings are coming on in, the Vipers as well, but the tanks are spread. 2 Blinding Clouds only cover 2 tanks. Despite that, the Roach Ravager Ling is going to be enough to break this position. Nice target firing though. I believe the Lurker, sorry, the Infestor was targeted down. I don't think the Infestor did anything. Oh, and the Southern 5th base gets cancelled. GuMiho at the same time did have a Southern 4th. Does trade quite well. 4 Hydras get picked off. Very good trade for GuMiho. And Dark is a little bit battered and bruised. You know, he still can't get a 5th, of course, and he did trade a little bit inefficiently, but he reset the tank count and he has his tech. You know, the reason why he was struggling is because he was taking up all the way into Hydras, sorry, into Lurkers and all the way into Vipers. Now that he has them, he has a more robust army, and it's only going to get better from here. As long as he doesn't lose any Lurkers. Of course, GuMiho wants to be as active as possible and try to keep Dark on 4 bases for as long as he can. Does have a Southern Force being set up here. Meanwhile, he's taking his own 4th base, his own 5th as well. We can see that GuMiho's economy is pretty comparable to that of Dark. You see another drop coming in, and oh, there wasn't anything in position here to defend. The Spore is going to get focused down, as well as 2 drones. At the same time, we have that Southern 4th moving in as well. Lurkers are left in position, but there are only 2 Lurkers. They need to be supported. There we go. We have the rest of the Lurkers showing up. Dark is going to be able to hold on, and we have 3-3 on the way. The Hydra upgrades as well. These Hydra upgrades were delayed because, again, we did focus on those Lurkers. If we didn't, then Dark may have just died to the initial push of GuMiho. Again, he is surviving. He's still waiting for those upgrades. I imagine he wants a couple more Vipers as well. Looking at the units tab, we currently have 2 Vipers. Is that really going to be enough? Especially against GuMiho, it's a scary prospect to heavily rely on so few spellcasters, especially because he's getting ghosts. He's going to have EMPs, he's going to have snipes. But for the time being, we are going to be keeping up with this rotation. We do see a triple drop going all the way to the main base, past the Spores. Oh, nice target firing. 1 Lurker goes down. The main is under threat. The army's trying to respond, but the hive, up. Oh, the hive is going to be going down. Ooh, big pick up here for GuMiho. That means no more Vipers are available for Dark. He needs that hive to be rebuilt. I say the hive, he has to rebuild the lair and then the hive as well. You see a Baneling nest on the way. Do you appreciate it? Banelings will be a nice addition to this army as well. Another double drop towards the north. No, there's no vision! Dark doesn't see, and this hatchery as well is going to be focused down. We have a little bit of transfuse energy. Can we keep it alive? Ooh, it looks like we barely will. That was like 3 or 4 transfuses. But again, this Marauder hit squad is still here. It's still alive. It's still going to be threatening this base. Goes for a scan just to see what is left over. GuMiho's thinking about it. He's like, mate, should I go in? Should I just dive? But Dark has eyes on this. Is going to be keeping up. And again, Dark was able to get his 5th, finally. 5th and 6th as well. He's expanding, taking a 7th base. And Dark has been able to max out with his army. A lot of potential here. Again, only has 2 Vipers. Has to make sure they don't get sniped or impede. Oh, here we go. We do have a couple of yoinks on some SCVs. We do get a tank. Oh, but there are those snipes we were talking about. And if I'm not mistaken... Okay, we do have a lair. We still don't have a hive. We're down to 1 Viper, and that is scary. We're gonna need more. There we go. The hive, it does begin. It does restart. At the same time, that Marauder hit squad does go back in. Get a Hydroden, get a couple of drones. But I do feel like right now, Dark is at his most vulnerable. He's gonna try and supplement his army with some infestors. Nice fungal. Does lose his infestor. There we go. 2 more infestors are on the way. I do kind of appreciate this. I do think that maybe the era of the Viper is come and gone, and we need infestors more than anything right now because of those ghosts. Vipers aren't the best counter to ghosts, if at all, really. Like Vipers, they can abduct the ghosts, and the ghosts just EMPs anyway. So, infestors are what we need. Ideally, Dark should also be getting ready to transition into Skyzerg, into Broodlords, into Broodlord Infestor, basically. But before that happens, we have a Nidus, a way to kind of make these lurkers be a little bit more offensive to try to get into the main base. But look at this ring of turrets. Oh. It's going to be difficult to find a way in. Not impossible, just difficult. Before that happens, GuMiho threatening the center of the map, looking for a way in. Nice fanning of these ghosts. They're looking for the EMPs, they're looking for snipes. They do get one lurker. Oh, there goes! Oh! Another lurker goes down, a third lurker. The EMPs are going to connect with two of those infestors. They do get one fungal off, but one fungal is not good enough. Oh. And yeah, Dark, he's in a really awkward position. I don't think he really wants to push in. He's throwing away his Roach Ravager, which I think is a wise choice. But at the same time, these lurkers are so exposed. There's only 3 lurkers here, and yeah, they're just gonna get sniped. Oh, there we go. Dark rebuilding here with Ling Bane, which I do think is the right call right now. That's the thing about Zerg. You have to be willing to be flexible with your army. Like, sure, we committed so much into like mass lurker, but now it's the era of Ling Bane. The Lings, they take down these tanks. They're gonna try and get a wraparound on the ghosts as well, but we just barely don't have enough Lings to keep going. Meanwhile, we do have a lurker harassing across the map, trying to distract GuMiho at least a little bit, trying to create an opening. Here we go. The Ling Bane's rolling on forward. Up, one ghost. One ghost is going to be going down. The Banelings are rolling forward. Up. Oh. They settle for a couple more ghosts. Not bad trades here for Dark. At the same time, that Marauder drop is still alive. Oh, I spoke too soon. The Marauder drop gets dealt with. Maybe a bit of an F2 there. Maybe a little bit. Oh. As GuMiho is setting up for a flank, he's trying to come around here. It looks like he will catch this Viper. The lurkers at least. Oh, and the Viper. GuMiho getting caught in a bit of a compromised position here. Nice fungals here on the medevacs. He's going to get 3 medevacs in total. And with this, Dark has momentum. He's going to keep on pushing. He wants the ghosts. He wants them. But we have EMPs. Oh. Yeah, overextending. We just didn't have enough to break that. We have 1 fungal left, so making 5 more infestors behind this. The lurkers, in the midst of all this, were able to take down an entire planetary and 17 SCVs, but now the lurkers are all on their own. So I don't know if this was worth it. We got a base. We got a lot of workers. This is good. As long as Dark is able to keep these lurkers alive, we're going to be okay. Here we go. The lurkers push in once again. Oh, we're kind of trading a little bit here, but the lurkers do get swallowed up at the same time. We have another lurker hit squad here towards the north. It looks like Dark, he's broken the economy. He's killed enough ghosts as well. And GuMiho is having a really hard time replacing all of this. He's down to 1 mining base. He just can't really mine effectively from any other base right now. The lurker harass is just a little bit too good. Here we go. Dark pushing on forward once again. Getting these high quality units here, these tanks, these ghosts, we can't replace them. They're too expensive. Ah. And the natural is slowly being broken as well. GG gets called, and Dark is able to take game number 1. Oh boy. Dark having a bit of a rough start, being contained to 4 bases for so long. But eventually, again, the goal here was to rush into those lurkers, was to rush into Vipers as well. And he was able to just, yeah, even get his Hive upgrades. Even though his Hive died, he didn't necessarily need it at the time. You know, he was doing a great job supplementing his army with infestors as well, and just trading that much more efficiently. I say trading efficiently. It was that, but I guess more importantly, just denying that economy, denying those bases. Making sure that GuMiho just couldn't replace what he was losing. And that's the power of Gressvan. You know, Gressvan, because of the structure of the map, because of the layout of all the bases, things can get real chaotic real quick. You know, you can siege upon the center base from the low ground. You have all these different attack paths as well, and that's what makes it a great game. Or that's what makes it a great map, just to watch, to spectate, to be entertained by. As looks like some of the other matches have already ended. God, those were quick series. Hero, we have some updates. Hero 2-0'd Scarlet, and Hero is in the semifinals, and Maru 2-0'd Cyan, and Maru is in the semifinals as well. As the other casters are converging here. In the time that we had one game, they've already finished their series. Crazy. So my condolences to Scarlet, my condolences, as she had a pretty good run to make it to the quarterfinals, but Hero is the best Protoss player in the world, so no shame in going down to Hero whatsoever. But here we go, and now getting into this and spawning in the top right hand corner of Royal Blood, we have the South Korean Zerg player representing Dragon TvZ Gaming. It is Dark. And spawning in the bottom left hand corner of Royal Blood, we have his opponents. We have the South Korean Terran representing himself. It is GuMiho. And yeah, the start of that game was pretty intense, and I have to wonder what it was that prompted Dark to go for that style, to go for Roach Ravager into a fast hive and into lurkers. I have to wonder if that's something that he did, because we've been casting a lot of Dark recently. We've been casting a lot of him for the past couple of months. And I haven't seen him do that in quite some time. Maybe he did it recently in the Wardy tournament. I haven't really been keeping up with like the Wardy tournament or the Pigsty event. But yeah, I have to wonder if it's something specifically about GuMiho or about that map that he wanted to take advantage of. I do think that siege units can do quite well on Gressvan, just because of, again, the structure of where the bases are, the overall layout of the map. I do think that it does kind of favor siege units in certain positions, so maybe that's kind of what prompted Dark to do that. I'm kind of theorizing just because, like, we've seen Dark on Gressvan before, and you know, he does other things. He's because Link Bait Ultra and all this other stuff. So yeah, maybe he just, you know, it's the flavor of the day, wanted to spice things up. As we are getting into this, and GuMiho is switching up his opener here in game 2, actually goes for an SCV scout. Still goes for a Marine first, but will go for an SCV scout and does confirm the hatch first here from Dark. I think that's a wise choice. Dark quite often does go pool first, and especially if you're skipping your Reaper scout as well, you need to be aware of what your opponent is up to. That's why I thought it was so crazy, as we are going to be killing this Overlord. But that's why I thought it was so crazy that GuMiho had skipped his scout entirely last game, and we saw Dark actually have a pretty strong opener overall, if you remember, killing 4 SCVs, killing a depot, killing a Marine. Oh my god, but GuMiho. Oh my god, who did I last see do this? I think I saw Bunny do this like a year ago or something, but here we go. Marines are moving out across the map because of the Marine opener. Bunker is halfway done, and this is designed to force a cancel at this third base. The bunker, it looks like it will finish, by the way. Lings are on the way, but they won't get here in time. Are the Lings and Queens going to be enough to overpower this bunker, though? Because Dark doesn't want to cancel this. Yeah, and he's going to be making a lot of Lings. He should be bringing another Queen over as well, and he is looking to overpower this. But no, we have a second bunker! Oh my god. This is so gross. And here we go. The Lings are diving on top of the bunker. The Queen, gets focused and has to back off in the end. The bunker is going to be salvaged. No, it is going to be killed. The salvage was a little bit too late. The Lings are barely going to be able to get the Marines. Dark shuts this down. Very nicely handled. If he had waited a couple extra seconds, then the second bunker would have finished and Dark would have lost so many more lings. This is some inadvertent damage though. We can see that Dark's drone count isn't where he wants it to be. He's forced to make all these lings and he has to make use of them. And here we go. Ling speed is about to finish up in 10 seconds and GuMiho, did he poke the bear because the lings are going to be rushing on in. They are still slow. They're still a couple more seconds away from finishing up, but it looks like they will be getting us around at least one of these Hellions. The Lings have arrived. One SCV goes down. A Hellion on the low ground as well. So many workers as well. And Dark must be saying, mate, you made this happen. This is on you, buddy. You made me make all these Lings. They will get cleaned up, but not before killing 9 SCVs. Ugh. GuMiho, you have to sleep in the bed you made. And to be fair, you know, now that the Lings are all gone, Dark is vulnerable to a Hellion counterattack. The Queens are trying to get in position, and GuMiho is going to respect them. He is going to back off. Dark is going to be able to take a pretty big worker lead. It is quite massive here. Off the back of this though, GuMiho is not throwing down a third CC. He's throwing down 2 more Raxes instead. Oh my god, this is very committed here from GuMiho, and it does make some sense because he lost so many workers. He's got +1 on the way. He may just be looking to go for an all-in. Because the third, it's non-existent, mate. Actually non-existent. So, yeah, we'll see if Dark can kind of piece together what's happening. He does have a couple of Lings across the map to go for a bit of a scout. He's now going for his lair at a reasonable time here for Dark, just droning up as best he can, trying to cut as many corners as possible. He's going for a Roach one. I think this is probably a good thing here for Dark. Roaches are very strong defensively, I feel, especially Ravagers against these kind of tank-based pushes. So he will have Ling, Roach, Ravager to defend. And meanwhile, we do have 2 Banshees coming out across the map. Did have that cloak opener, but the Banshees already take a lot of hits. They're going to be able to find some Lings. At the same time, the Hellions are heading over towards the third base. The Queens are being pulled apart left and right. And if Dark isn't careful, there may be an opening here for GuMiho. Oh. Meanwhile, here we go. The push is coming. 2 more Raxes. 5 Raxes in total here off of 2 bases. The army is headed across the map for GuMiho. What do we have to defend? Dark is in the middle of droning. He has a Roach Warren, but he has no Roaches available. The army now gets spotted. And now Roaches are on the way. The Queens all come to the front lines. Can they buy some time? Can they deal with this army, especially with the support of the Banshees? The Banshees are coming in from behind. The Lings are getting stuck behind the Queens a little bit. Oh, every Queen is coming to the front lines here, and it looks like the first tank is going to go down. Ooh. At the cost of a lot of Queens. A lot of Queens are falling, but all they had to do was buy time, and they have it done so successfully. The Roaches are trickling on out. Is it going to be enough? Is it going to be enough is the question. The Marines, they push on forward. They take down every Queen bar 1. 8 Queens go down. This is the only Queen left in the game. Oh. But Dark holds, and that's what's important. And Dark has 69 workers. Nice. He's making a 4th base behind this. All he has to do is defend because GuMiho is all in. GuMiho giga all in with this push. He's going for a drop. Oh. He's going for a drop into the main base. Dark is unaware right now. He finally does spot it. He's responding. Oh, the medevac. Oh, medevac is barely going to survive. The tanks do unload here. Nice stutter stepping from GuMiho, but the rest of the army is about to rock up. And this drop wasn't really successful. I mean, he got another Queen. He got another 2 Queens, actually. Here we go. He's just rotating back and forth between the main and the third base. +1 melee is going to get denied. +1 carrot base, though, will finish up just in time. Will be quite important here for Darklings. The tanks have been able to solidify themselves here outside the third base. Dark can afford to give this up, by the way. He has a 4th base. He can just... There we go. He can transfer his workers over. Dark's gonna try and trade as best he can. Doesn't want to bleed out too many of these Ravagers. Oh, can we get the biles off? Oh, I don't think that was worth it. We lost 3-4 Ravagers there. But maybe it was worth it. The Roaches are pushing through. We barely killed the tanks. Just barely. At the cost of the Ravagers, but again, we can afford to lose some Ravagers. We saved the base, surprisingly. GuMiho, he gets knocked down to a singular tank. And now he's going to make something happen. He's going for some drops. This is looking worse and worse for GuMiho. Dark up against the wall here. He's droning. Dark is crazy. He's droning up to 71. He's going to drone up to 74. He needs army. But he's confident. He thinks he's done it. And maybe he has, but here we go. A double drop is coming in on the left-hand side. And, oh, Dark is going to be punished for his greed. A lot of drones are going to be going down. At the same time, on the right-hand side, once again, GuMiho trading well. Does save the tank. Say trading well, you know, baits out some lings. Dark re-droning. It's crazy. Again, the biggest downside of what Dark's unit composition is he doesn't have a way to deal with these medevacs, so he can't really shut down these drops. He can only keep up with them. GuMiho, still no third CC, by the way. Still committing to the all-in. Just banking up a larger and larger army here outside the third. His army supply is comparable with that of Dark's. It's actually better because Dark's army is inflated because of the Roach Ravager. But Dark is getting it. He's squeezing out Infestors. He's got a Baneling Nest. He's got Baneling Speed on the way. Here we go. GuMiho coming in for round 3. There's the Fungal. Up. Up. Oh, the Biles are not quite gonna connect. Not enough Ravagers. Oh, and this is a scary moment for Dark. Marines are steaming on forward. Banelings are rolling on in. Again, they waddle in. They don't have speed. Oh, but the Ravagers are getting on top of the tanks. And it looks like once again Dark is holding. GG gets called. And Dark will take the series at 2-0. He was droning. He's crazy. GG, well played. Congratulations to Dark as he takes the series 2-0 and moves on to the semifinals. GuMiho forced into an all-in position because of how many SCVs he lost to the Ling counterattack. He had to commit, he had to go for it, and yeah, alas, Dark was able to prepare in time. I say prepare in time. He was in the middle of droning when he got attacked. He had 0 roaches. If you remember, a lot of it is because Dark makes so many queens early on, and he brought everything to the front line, and he lost 8 queens in that first push. He lost 8 queens, but it was enough to buy time for the roaches and the lings, for the reinforcements to pop out of their eggs. Despite Dark's late reaction to the push, his queen defense was so solid. Oh. Solid enough is what I should say. And with that, GG. Congratulations to Dark as he takes the series 2-0 and now will move on to the semifinals. See, how do I do the same things but still lose? How do I not scout an all-in and die when Dark doesn't scout and lives? It's crazy. it's insane. Return to the game and build more drones. GG. Dark did it recently to Innovation. There we go. Taking a 7-minute hive. I imagine that was maybe in the Wardy tournament. I haven't seen that series between Dark and Innovation.